My sister-in-law is addicted to cosmetic surgeries and even wants to take my 10-year-old niece to have one together. She claims it's to ensure a happy life for her future son-in-law. I explained the dangers of surgeries to my sister-in-law. I took her to exercise and helped her return to her pre-pregnancy state. Unexpectedly, my brother was determined to divorce her and soon brought another woman into the house because she had had a surgery. My sister-in-law divorced quietly. Soon after, she took my niece and invited me to climb a mountain. She pushed me off a cliff. It's all your fault. If you hadn't stopped me from having the surgery, how would your brother divorce me? And my beloved niece watched me die coldly. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day when my sister-in-law was about to take my niece to have the surgery. As soon as I opened my eyes, someone pulled my sleeve. My niece still had tears on her face and pitifully begged me, "Aunt, Mom wants to take me to have a tightening surgery. I don't want to go." I hadn't reacted yet. Soon, my sister-in-law caught up and picked up my niece and slapped her. "I've had so many surgeries and nothing happened. Why are you so useless? If it weren't for me having so many surgeries, how would your dad like me so much? I'm thinking of you. You're young and recover quickly. If you don't have the surgery, what if your future son-in-law dislikes you?" My niece cried even harder. I realized that I had been reborn. Reborn to the day when my sister-in-law was about to take my niece to have the tightening surgery. In my previous life, my sister-in-law was addicted to tightening surgeries. She believed that married women should find ways to please men. If a man's heart is not on his wife, it's all because the wife doesn't do enough. So after giving birth, she became obsessed with having surgeries. She even encouraged the women around her to have surgeries together. And there were really women who managed to keep their men's hearts because of this. My sister-in-law was overjoyed and became even more determined to have surgeries until she was old. In the end, she even wanted to take my 10-year-old niece to have one together, just to give a happy life to a non-existent son-in-law. In my previous life, I decisively protected my niece and stopped my crazy sister-in-law. I comforted my niece with all my heart and explained the dangers of surgeries to my sister-in-law. As expected, my sister-in-law was scared. I took her to exercise and helped her return to her pre-pregnancy state. Unexpectedly, my brother was determined to divorce her and soon brought another woman into the house because that woman had had a tightening surgery. My sister-in-law divorced quietly. I privately advised my sister-in-law to look on the bright side and find someone better who loves her more in the future. My brother didn't deserve her. My sister-in-law was also calm. Soon after, she took my niece and invited me to climb a mountain. She took a small path. Finally, she pushed me off a cliff on the mountainside. "It's all your fault. If you hadn't stopped me from having the surgery, how would your brother divorce me?" And my beloved niece watched me die coldly. Only when I died did I know that she hated me for ruining her parents' marriage. So in this life, I won't care about her anymore. I smiled. "This is your child. You have the final say." My niece's eyes were red. I comforted her and said, "How can there be a mother in this world who doesn't love her child? Your mom is doing this for your own good. You'll understand when you grow up." To seeing this, my sister-in-law was relieved a lot. She looked me up and down. "You're so old and still haven't had the surgery. When you get married and your husband dislikes you, don't blame me for not warning you when you're not happy in marriage." I lowered my head. "I'm allergic to anesthetics. I'm destined not to be as happy as you, sister-in-law." My sister-in-law had encouraged the women around her to have surgeries before, and I was naturally urged as well. She even said that there was no woman like me. In the future, my husband wouldn't like me. At that time, the reason I gave was that I was allergic to anesthetics. Only then did my sister-in-law stop and say that I was born without the fate to enjoy happiness. My sister-in-law took my niece away and decisively made an appointment for the next surgery. My mom came back from buying groceries. As soon as she learned the news, she immediately came to me, looking worried. She said, "Stella is still young. Is it not good for her to have this surgery? Go and persuade your sister-in-law." I didn't care. Stella is your sister-in-law's own daughter. Can she not care about her? Mom. I think you don't need to worry blindly. My mom sighed. Usually, my sister-in-law had a lot of demands. Basically, she had the final say in the family. Naturally, my mom didn't dare to say more. She nodded and turned back to her room. But I suddenly noticed that her walking posture was strange. I subconsciously called out to her. Mom, are you injured? Her old face blushed. She stammered and couldn't say anything clearly. I keenly noticed that she touched the root of her thigh. It seemed that there was a wound there. I immediately guessed. You also had the tightening surgery? She nodded. Your sister-in-law praised the surgery to the skies. She also said that when your dad was alive, I didn't have this surgery. She said your dad had bad luck. That's what my sister-in-law would say. I smiled at her. What my sister-in-law said makes sense. Look how happy my sister-in-law and my brother are now. Mom, endure a little longer. Maybe you can find a second spring. In my previous life, after I died, I became a spirit. I saw my sister-in-law take my niece home and say that I fell off the cliff accidentally. My niece also helped hide the truth. I expected my mom and my brother to see through her disguise and seek justice for my dead soul. They did guess the truth. Unexpectedly, my sister-in-law suddenly vomited nonstop and love things. She was pregnant. When the police came, they said nothing and instead helped my sister-in-law hide the truth. Just because they suspected that this baby was a boy and wanted to continue the family line. Even to let my sister-in-law have a peaceful pregnancy. They drove the woman they had brought home earlier out of the house. Later, every time my brother quarreled with her, he would use my matter as a shield. My sister-in-law angrily shouted. I gave the Yvonne family a son. Can Yvonne do that? No matter how many children she has, she's still an outsider. Moreover, she's already dead now. My brother and my mom felt guilty and never mentioned me again. In this life, they can create their own karma. I won't stop them at all. 3. My brother came back. I heard my mom greet them, and then I went back to my room and closed the door. In my previous life, the surgery my sister-in-law made an appointment for was on the 7th. There was still a week left. This time I won't persuade them anymore. I'm happy to wait for them to have the surgery. Suddenly, I was a little thirsty. I opened the door and went to the living room to drink water. The table was just to the right when I went out. I could reach the cup on the table with one hand. I didn't look up. I picked up the cup but hadn't drunk from it yet. Suddenly, my sister-in-law's sharp scream came from the sofa. As I looked up, I saw my brother hurriedly zip up his pants. My sister-in-law was wearing a red pajama slip dress and was in disarray. My mom hurriedly ran out and asked her what was wrong. Her sharp voice was like that of a fierce ghost. Yvonne, there's only William as a man in the family. Can you be a little more decent? You know we're in the living room and still come out to peek. What are you thinking? Sure enough, whether in the past life or this life, she's the same. I didn't speak yet and silently took a sip of water. My sister-in-law immediately glared at me. Are you mute if you don't speak? You can't have the tightening surgery and can't get a man's love. So you're coveting your brother, right? There's no pillar in the family except your brother. So I want to take advantage of your brother being at home to quickly give your family a capable son. You have to come out at this time. Do you want to ruin this family? In her previous life, she was like this, seeing danger everywhere. She felt that everyone coveted my brother, especially after giving birth. After being intimate with his wife, my brother asked her why she had become like this after giving birth. Later, my sister-in-law found out that my brother was being ambiguous with other women outside. She didn't dare to quarrel. She secretly ran home and cried for an afternoon, making my head ache. I comforted her emotions and took the initiative to fight for her rights and interests, telling her to get rid of this kind of man. But she widened her eyes and said, "You are unwanted. Do you also want me to be unwanted?" After that, she became obsessed with tightening surgeries. She even thought that all women coveted my brother, including me and my mom. Even when my niece wanted to hug her own dad for a while, my sister-in-law called her coquetous. She had to wash my brother's clothes and shoes by herself, and didn't allow anyone in the family to touch anything of my brother's. Just like now. I looked at my brother. He had already tittied up his clothes and lit a cigarette. What your sister-in-law said is right. Be more observant in the future. I suddenly smiled brightly. The last bit of hesitation in my heart also disappeared. They didn't know. After I died in my previous life, I saw that the unscrupulous beauty salon my sister-in-law went to was exposed. It was said that the beauty salon didn't disinfect thoroughly and reused medical equipment. Many patients had contracted diseases. Now, both my sister-in-law and my mom have had surgeries. Their retribution is coming soon. For my mom also helped my sister-in-law lecture me. But I was no longer angry. The next second, liquid gradually seeped out from the root of my sister-in-law's thigh, and a patch on the sofa darkened. Soon, everyone smelled a faint fishy smell. The after effects of my sister-in-law's surgery in her previous life began to show not long after I died. Now it has actually advanced. My brother was the closest. He immediately frowned and glanced at my sister-in-law, without any concern. He hurriedly stood up and moved away from her. Go to the toilet and wash up. It stinks to death. How can we sit on the sofa then? My sister-in-law's face was pale. She covered her stomach and hurriedly stood up. My brother and sister-in-law didn't love each other very much. Especially after my sister-in-law gave birth to my niece. My brother didn't even pretend. He made her do chores before she was even out of confinement. Only I pitied my sister-in-law's experience. I took the initiative to help share the housework. After a long time, my sister-in-law pushed all the work to me. Later, my brother lingered among women and didn't come home often. My sister-in-law then went for surgery to keep my brother's affection. And it really worked. But my brother's selfish gene has always been there. He only cares about his own pleasure. My sister-in-law hurriedly hid in the toilet and tittied up. When she came out, her face was ugly and she was aggressive towards me. It's all your fault for scaring me and making me leak urine. If it delays my surgery in 2 days, I won't let you go. I don't want to pursue this matter today. You saw your brother's upper body and scared me into leaking urine. So pay for my surgery expenses. And for Stella's surgery expenses. As an aunt, don't you have to contribute? I wanted to laugh, but I still held it back in front of them. This was clearly a surgical after effect. But she still thought it was because of being scared. My mom didn't dare to refute and quickly nodded. Okay. Mom will pay. Yvonne, you are the most capable of making money. Can you contribute more to help your sister-in-law and them? And my niece was woken up. At this moment, she was staring at me by holding the door frame. In the past, every time she wanted me to buy something for her, she would stare at me with this kind of eyes. I smiled. Of course. For the happy life of my beloved niece in the future. Of course I have to contribute. My brother still had a bit of sanity. Stella is so young. She can't have surgery. Right? My sister-in-law didn't think so. What do you know? It's because she is young that she recovers quickly. I heard from my sister that her daughter had it done when she was 9. Do you want Stella to fall behind at the starting line? Moreover, after having the surgery, we can ask for a higher betrothal gift then. My brother was silent for a moment. Okay. Then let's do it. 5. The day of the surgery came soon. My brother went to work and couldn't accompany them. So my sister-in-law called me and my mom to go together. Of course I would go. Watching her enter the operating room with my own eyes and seeing her face her fate. Then I could be at ease. My mom and I waited outside together. Suddenly, my mom stood up. Wait here. I'll go for a walk outside. I stared at her figure. Just 2 days ago, I heard her ask my sister-in-law. The last surgery wasn't done well. I have inflammation now, and I always leak urine. Can you make an appointment for me too? Thinking of that almost non-existent family affection, I looked up and asked her, "Mom, do you really want to go today?" She glared at me. "What if I go? I have taken care of this family for most of my life. Do you still want to control me if I have a surgery? You are allergic to drugs and can't have the surgery. So you don't want me to be well either?" Of course I wouldn't stop her. Watching my mom go to another consulting room, I silently took out my phone and took a video of her back, celebrating my mom having a tightening surgery. I wonder which man will benefit in the future. The reason why my mom cares so much about this surgery is not because she was successfully brainwashed by my sister-in-law. Instead, she has found her second spring. Not long ago, that old man followed me. This video is for him and other relatives to see. 6 outside the operating room. She was suffering in the operating room. I heard her tragic wail, sharp and ear-piercing, making my ears hurt. I took a photo of the operating room door and my sister-in-law's medical record. Then I silently took out my earphones and put them on, turning on the music. The surgery seemed very successful. Soon, I heard my sister-in-law's roar. "Get a female doctor over here. Are you people? My daughter is so young. You let a man perform surgery on her?" Only now did my sister-in-law realize that my niece was young. Only then did I take off my earphones and walk over unhurriedly. I saw my sister-in-law sitting in a wheelchair, her eyes wide with anger, pointing at the doctor's nose and scolding. The doctor helplessly explained to her that there were many patients recently and now he was the only doctor available. My sister-in-law wouldn't let it go. And my niece had long been frightened by my sister-in-law and had tears in her eyes, tightly grasping her clothes. When she saw me, she suddenly ran towards me. She wanted to hug my waist, but I nimbly dodged. Her tears fell pattering pitifully. She said, "Aunt, I don't want to have surgery anymore. Can you help me tell Mom?" The hoarse and terrifying screams from the operating room just now had completely frightened her. She regarded me as a life-saving straw. I lowered my head and touched her head. "Sister-in-law, if Stella doesn't want to do it, then don't do it. At worst, we'll just ask for less betrothal gift then. It won't delay her getting married." My sister-in-law's face changed greatly. My brother didn't make much money, and she didn't go to work either. The family often couldn't make ends meet, and needed my subsidy. The couple are aiming for their niece to get married in the future and earn betrothal gifts. How could they allow such a thing to happen? She was so anxious that she pushed the wheelchair and rushed over. In the next second, my sister-in-law raised her hand and swung her arm to slap my niece. "You damn girl. You have to do it today whether you want to or not. So what if it's a male doctor? You should keep the female virtue. Keep the fact that you were seen by a man to yourself. Got it? What she cares about is only money, men, and sons. So how could she care about an insignificant daughter?" My niece's tears fell pattering with tears on her face. She sobbed, "Got it. I'll do it." My sister-in-law was finally satisfied. 7 after the surgery, there was a quarrel in the hospital. My sister-in-law was still lying on the shared wheelchair. As soon as a group of people came out, they saw in the corridor that my mom was being pulled by an old man. The old man's eyes were fierce. "Tell me, do you look down on me? An old man? That doctor is a man. How can you be so cheap and what an outsider see you?" Although it's not as effective as I expected, but it's enough. A circle of people gathered around. There were many people taking out their phones to record. In this era, everything can be recorded and posted online, and be criticized by all netizens. But I just need this. My mom tried her best to soothe his emotions, and told him that she didn't have that intention. But the old man with male chauvinism was in a fit of anger. How could he listen? "I just saw that you also brought your granddaughter to do it. You shameless bitch. You said you wouldn't dislike me. Now you come to have a tightening surgery. I have to teach you a lesson today." There were exclamations all around. "Oh my God. So exciting? The whole family comes to have tightening surgeries together?" It's okay for the mother-in-law to have it. But the daughter is so young and she is also brought here. Her mother is the same. I don't know how many times I've seen her come for surgery. Is she addicted? My sister-in-law was so angry that her face was pitch black. She pointed at their noses and scolded. After scolding, she was still not relieved and vented her anger on my mom and me. The passers-by gradually dispersed. I took out my phone and warned the old man. If you don't leave, I will call the police. And what happened to us here? And the video of my sister-in-law making a fuss in the consulting room were all posted online. It caused a heated discussion for a while. Some people even uncovered all the relationships in our family. This aunt is good. She is sensible. It's a pity that the little girl has such a family. Oh my God. I know this little girl. She is my son's classmate. I know her too. I live in the same building as her. This family has a lot of troubles. I didn't expect them to be so disgusting in private. Their daughter is very nice. It's just unlucky to have such a family. That old man is so weak. How can he still say that the aunt dislikes him? I'm ashamed for him. Although the matter didn't have very high popularity, many people in the community and school saw it. These days, as long as my sister-in-law goes out, she can hear people pointing and whispering. Is that the family that took a 10-year-old child to have a tightening surgery? So shameless. It's really a sin for the child to be with them. Her face was flushed with shame. She hurriedly ran home. After my niece recovered for a few days and went to school, she was also privately discussed. Is she the girl who went to have a tightening surgery with her mom? So disgusting. Let's not play with her. That day, she came back crying and refused to go to school. My mom and my brother didn't dare to go out these days. As soon as they went to work, their colleagues all talked about how they were inhumane for letting a 10-year-old child have such a surgery. They also laughed at my mom for having such a surgery at such an old age. They became celebrities in the school and community. My sister-in-law was so angry that she was on the verge of a breakdown every day. No one dared to provoke her, except for my brother. Because my brother was even more restless. As if he had super male syndrome. After my sister-in-law complained about the online matter again, my brother swung his arm and slapped her. If you didn't insist on taking Stella to have surgery, how could it be filmed and posted online? If you dare to say one more word, I'll beat you to death. Believe it or not? My sister-in-law covered her face and didn't dare to cry out loud, afraid that my brother would hit her again if his temper flared up. When my brother picked up his coat and slammed the door and left, there was a loud cry from my sister-in-law in the living room. She hadn't fully recovered from the surgery. Plus, she cried so miserably that she almost did respiratory alkalosis. I comforted her. Sister-in-law, don't be angry anymore. Online is just people following others. They don't really know your good intentions at all. In my opinion, they don't really want to scold you. They are just jealous that you have an enlightened family. They can't do it, and their married life is not harmonious. That's why they are jealous of your happy life. My continuous brainwashing made my sister-in-law completely believe in this statement. She was no longer angry and was arrogant all day. I must be the tightest one in the whole community. That old woman who talked about me 2 days ago is getting a divorce recently. Her husband has an affair outside. Isn't it because she is not like me? She still has the nerve to talk about my surgery. I nodded in agreement. I will never persuade her anymore. People's fates are predetermined. In my previous life, I got involved and changed their fates, resulting in me bearing the corresponding consequences. But this time, I called the police in advance. Soon after I got home, the unscrupulous beauty salon has harmed many people. I want this beauty salon to be closed down in advance. However, the news was accidentally leaked. I was exposed. Someone posted the video of the beauty salon being closed down online. Soon the video became popular and the comment section was full of scolding. I heard that there is a woman who is allergic to anesthetic drugs and can't have this surgery. That's why she deliberately called the police. Damn. This is so disgusting. Right? Isn't it because she is too loose and jealous that we can have it done? That's right. I've had it done 3 times, and there is no problem at all. Don't you know? I heard that it was reported by the only one who didn't have the surgery in the family that quarreled last time. I read everyone's comments with a calm expression. Suddenly, I curled my lips. Sure enough, whether in my previous life or this life, I can't completely harden my heart and ignore them. But now I can. These are all the causes and consequences they solved themselves. I won't interfere anymore. Because of those comments, my sister-in-law has vaguely guessed that it was me who called the police. She didn't say it directly. She just supervised me more strictly. When I went to the living room to pour water, my sister-in-law suddenly stared at my shoes. Her eyes were pitch black and terrifyingly gloomy. I was just about to turn around and go back to my bedroom. My sister-in-law suddenly let out a scream. Her surgical incision wasn't fully healed yet. Her face was as pale as paper. But she quickly ran up to me and sternly questioned me. Yvonne, do you want to ruin this family? Do you have to wear the same slippers as your brother? You can't have the surgery yourself. It's okay that you called the police. But do you still have to target your brother? Are you going to target my son when I give birth to a son? I lowered my head and glanced at the slippers. I had no idea at all that these were the same style as my brother's slippers. My sister-in-law has always been unable to tolerate others coveting my brother. She took big strides and rushed towards me. Suddenly, her body softened and her expression changed drastically. She quickly ran to the toilet and vomited until she was dizzy. My mom hurriedly ran out and was stunned when she saw the scene. After my sister-in-law finished vomiting, she looked up and exchanged a glance with my mom. Then she touched her stomach. Mom, I might be pregnant. 10 at this time. How could my sister-in-law be pregnant? Thinking of the matter of the beauty salon in my previous life, my expression changed greatly. My sister-in-law's condition may not be pregnancy. It is very likely an early symptom of HIV. My sister-in-law is still immersed in the joy of pregnancy. This is exactly the same as my pregnancy reaction when I was pregnant with Stella. My mom also couldn't help beaming. My sister-in-law suddenly exclaimed, Mom, quickly bring me some apricots. I suddenly want to eat something sour now. The two looked at each other again. My mom was overjoyed. It's stable. This baby must be a big fat boy. They were so certain that they even calculated the date of their last sexual intercourse and menstrual period, inferring that she must be more than a month pregnant now. When my brother came back, his face was terrifyingly gloomy, until he heard my sister-in-law say, William, I will finally give you a big fat son. My sister-in-law didn't think it was a big deal. What's the need for testing? This is exactly the same as the symptoms when I was pregnant with Stella. My brother finally showed a smile. He held my sister-in-law and spun around in the living room. The family atmosphere that had been dead silent for more than a month finally became cheerful. They thought the haze had dissipated. Little did they know that the nightmare had just begun. 17 after being happy for a while. My mom touched her stomach. Strangely, I haven't eaten much recently. Why do I always have diarrhea? My brother said the same. So they suspected that maybe the cooking hadn't been done well recently. My sister-in-law appropriately disliked my mom a few words. My mom's face flushed with shame. Suddenly, she whispered softly, You are pregnant and lack someone to take care of. Why don't you let my lover live in our house? He is diligent. When William is not at home, he can also help with work. What do you think? Unexpectedly, after that incident last time, the two of them hadn't broken up. My sister-in-law scolded. Wasn't that incident last time enough? Moreover, usually you pick up Stella from school. At home, I am a little pregnant woman. Do you think it's appropriate to be alone with a man? My mom's face didn't look good either. But my sister-in-law was pregnant, and it was very likely a boy. She held back her complaints. I didn't participate in their conversation and went back to my room and silently packed my luggage. I heard my sister-in-law deliberately complain to my brother again. I don't know which slut is so crazy for a man that she actually reported the beauty salon. Now these women outside are just so cheap. They can't have the surgery and still go to the police. Right? Yvonne? I stopped what I was doing and also chimed in. The top priority now is to leave home first. I clearly remember the transmission routes of this disease. But who can guarantee what will happen later? Before Stella finished school, I took my luggage and told my brother and sister-in-law that I would move out and live elsewhere for a while. When they heard that I would still pay for the food expenses as usual, my sister-in-law's eyes lit up. I successfully moved out of the house and went to another rented house that I had rented in advance. Unexpectedly, within 2 days, Stella actually found my company during my working hours. 12 when my colleague told me that there was a little girl waiting for me at the door. I didn't react yet. It wasn't until I went out and saw my niece standing at the elevator door on the floor of our studio with her school bag on her back that my expression darkened. When my niece saw me, it was as if she saw a life-saving straw. She sobbed and tightly clutched the corner of my clothes. "Aunt, I don't want a little brother. Can you make my mom not be pregnant? Now none of my classmates play with me. Mom and Dad and Grandma only care about the little brother in Mom's stomach. But I don't want it." Her eyes were very big and big tears fell down. Looking at it was enough to make people feel sorry. But my heart was extremely calm and couldn't be stirred up at all. "Be good. If you run over here, your parents should be worried about you. They still love you." It's false. They don't love her. The family has always been patriarchal. Even my niece is named Stella to stop having daughters and want to have a son. Up until now, my family hasn't sent me messages or called me. I haven't seen them come out to look for Stella either. My mom has been secretly urinating a lot recently. Dad scolds Mom every day. The house is so messy and not clean at all. "Aunt, can you come home with me?" It seems that my sister-in-law's after effects are getting worse. If it weren't for the child in her belly, my brother would have hit her long ago. But my brother disliked her and simply didn't come home once in a few days. My sister-in-law vented all her resentment on my mom and niece. Sure enough, evil people will be punished by evil people. I touched her head. "No way. Aunt still has to work." My niece opened her eyes wide and looked at me. "Aunt, didn't you love me the most before? In the past, every time Mom and Dad scolded me, Aunt was the first to protect me. But recently, Aunt seems to have changed and doesn't play with me anymore." It turns out that she still knows how much I have done for her. But when my sister-in-law pushed me off the cliff, she didn't say a word. I just smiled. "You are overthinking. I have just sent a message to your parents and asked them to come and pick you up." My niece hugged my waist and cried loudly. Some people had already noticed us. I sent another message to my sister-in-law. I said that I was afraid that people would recognize Stella. Now that she was crying like this, maybe netizens would start speculating on their own again. At that time, if my brother was discussed at work, he would probably be angry again. Sure enough, after this message was sent, my sister-in-law no longer pretended not to see it and quickly replied to me. Soon she came and took the person away. My sister-in-law slapped Stella a few times. "If you run out again without permission, I'll kill you. Believe it or not, as a girl, you don't care about your reputation at all. In the future, see who is willing to marry you." My niece was pulled away by my sister-in-law. I always had a smiling face, but I saw her being pulled by my sister-in-law and looking back at me tightly. Her eyes were extremely black and full of resentment. But who cares? 13 on the day the unscrupulous beauty salon was exposed. The hot lists of several social software were all about it. The scope involved was so wide that it caused extensive discussions in society. Most of those who had scolded me before continued to scold me, asking why I didn't report it earlier, asking if I poisoned it. There were also netizens who apologized to me and helplessly accepted the reality. My sister-in-law felt that the sky was falling when she learned the news. But she soon knew that the sky was falling too early, when she hurriedly called her good friend, who had persuaded her to have the surgery together. She found that the phone couldn't be reached no matter what. My sister-in-law's uneasiness grew even stronger. She called several sisters who had had the surgery together one by one. As a result, without exception, no one answered. At this time, she suddenly saw the push notification from the browser. The unscrupulous beauty salon was exposed for hiring nearly 100 shills. She couldn't believe it. Trembling, she clicked on it with her finger. There were whales below. Her eyes were almost dull. And she threw her phone away. The currently collected list of shills. Li, Xu Fen. A series of more than a dozen names. All of them are good sisters she knew back then. When my brother came home, he slapped my sister-in-law in the face. Damn it. It's all your fault, for having that surgery. Even after having the surgery, you're not as good as other women outside. And you even made me contract this disease. You're a disaster. I bought you a pregnancy test kit. Test it for me right now. If you're not pregnant, I'll beat you to death today. As a result, it really showed that she wasn't pregnant. My sister-in-law looked incredulous. How is it possible? I even have pregnancy symptoms. How could I not be pregnant? But the facts were in front of her. That's the symptom of your disease. My brother was so angry that he immediately beat my sister-in-law. My mom didn't dare to persuade him. My niece was crying loudly beside them. The family was in chaos. My sister-in-law soon thought of me. She called me crying and said the same as those netizens. If it's not you who poisoned it, then why did you call the police? How come others don't know there's a problem with the beauty salon? But only you know? I sneered. I wasn't at all surprised that she would say such words. Because I know the boss of the beauty salon is about to run away. The person on the other end urgently asked me what was going on. I gave them the address. The whole family went to take revenge in a mighty way. But just a while ago, the leaders of the beauty salon had already been blocked, and the police were arresting them. I knew their characters and knew that they would cause big trouble. I was happy to see them go. 14. I opened the video software, clicked on the live broadcast room posted by passersby. It was the live broadcast of arresting the head of the beauty salon. There were many passersby watching around. The beauty salon not only operated illegally and didn't disinfect properly but also evaded taxes. The crime was even more serious. The live broadcast room still had a high popularity until now. Soon, I saw several familiar figures rush into the camera and squeeze into the crowd. Even before everyone could react, several people had already rushed up like crazy. And those who were deeply persecuted also followed and rushed up. I saw my brother, sister-in-law, and my mom slash at the arrested leader with knives. Heartless bastards. I'm doing justice for heaven today. If it weren't for you bunch of animals, how could we contract this disease? Several policemen couldn't manage at all. The scene was extremely chaotic. Seeing more and more people being subdued, my brother finally panicked. Why is it only us who got sick? You all love to watch the excitement so much. Then let me give you enough to see. Saying that, my brother cut my mom's hand and sprinkled the blood on the onlookers, scaring everyone to scream continuously. Those who were originally blinded by hatred also squatted down and covered their heads under the restraint of the police. Soon, I saw several of them being pressed down by the police. My sister-in-law was still screaming, "Don't touch me. Stinky man. Get a female police officer." Among those arrested, several were severely injured and bleeding nonstop and were immediately sent to the emergency room, except for my niece. My brother and the others were all locked up in the police station, waiting for the trial. Crimes endangering society, assaulting the police, and intentionally injuring others. Multiple crimes will be punished together. And my niece is too young and is under the strict supervision of her guardian. No one on my niece's maternal grandmother's side is willing to take her. After all, she is sick and her parents are in prison. No one is willing to take a look at her. My niece pushed all her resentment onto me. It's all your fault. Why didn't you stop my mom? Why did you agree when she took me to have surgery? I hate you. Why are my parents and grandma all in prison while you are still fine? You wait. When my parents come out, They will definitely kill you. Her words were extremely unfilial. But I still didn't care about a child's mistakes and took her to my place to take care of her. After all, even if her parents come out, they will be very miserable. In her previous life, my sister-in-law accidentally met the wife of a big shot. She even persuaded her to have surgery together. She said that the big shot faced too many temptations. If she didn't work hard, how could she keep the heart of the big shot? The other party actually believed her. Later, after the beauty salon was exposed, the other party had already been infected. But the big shot didn't abandon her and took her for treatment actively. Only then did she realize how wrong she was at the beginning. At that time, this matter even made it to the hot search and touched many netizens. In this life, under my change, before the other party had a chance to be persuaded by my sister-in-law, this matter was already exposed. The other party not only privately thanked me but even gave me a large sum of money. Enough for me to live comfortably for the rest of my life. Moreover, once my sister-in-law and the others come out, they will face the revenge of the big shot. Unfortunately, my still young niece not only doesn't know the truth but also doesn't know how to endure hardships to achieve a greater goal. She exposed her thoughts early. 15 My niece's words and deeds were all recorded by surveillance. I posted the video online, looking helpless and frowning with worry. Everyone, help me see, what should I do? Now my family members are all in prison. My niece's maternal grandmother's side doesn't want her either. So I take care of her personally. Who knows that one night, when I got up to go to the bathroom, I saw my niece standing at the door, staring at me directly. That look is not like that of a child at all. It scared me so much that I didn't dare to sleep at night. Moreover, she is unwilling to go to school now. She says that everyone wants to harm her, especially since she has that kind of disease. It's really a sin. I cried to netizens and finally sighed. But who made me her aunt? Her maternal grandmother and uncle are not willing. If there is really no way, I will raise her until she is 18. After posting several videos of my niece's behavior several times in a row, soon it got popular. Everyone sympathized with my situation and gave me advice. Of course, there were no lack of netizens who questioned me, but they were quickly scolded by other just netizens until they deleted their comments. Netizens gave me many suggestions. Most of them didn't agree that I should keep my niece. While I continued to post videos of my niece resenting me, I started a live broadcast. The popularity of the live broadcast room was not low. The daily gift income was a number that I couldn't have imagined before. Until later, I finally earned enough and closed the gift page. Thank you, everyone. I will take good care of my niece and treat her illness. Not long ago, I took her to the doctor for an examination. Unexpectedly, she was really diagnosed with mental illness. Now with financial support, I can finally send my beloved niece to a mental hospital with my own hands. After saying that, my niece's gloomy eyes appeared in the corner of the live broadcast camera. Netizens' comments kept scrolling. I pretended to know nothing. When I turned around, I saw my niece staring at me sinisterly. My niece's eyes were red and she rushed towards me. It's all your fault for ruining my life. All of them are your accomplices. It's all your fault. My arm was scratched by her until blood was flowing. I laughed bitterly and said, Stella, I didn't expect you to think of me like this. This scene was completely broadcast live to netizens. So, it was reasonable for me to send her to a mental hospital. I am the only relative and have the right to decide this matter. She does have mental illness and also has the motivation to hurt people. The whole country's netizens can see it. Everyone also advised me to send her away. I hesitated for a long time and agreed with tears in my eyes. Colleagues and neighbors all consoled me and comforted me, telling me to relax. But I am not sad at all. I am very happy. Taking revenge for myself in my previous life, tearing off their disguises, and making them get the punishment they deserve. On the day when I sent my niece to the mental hospital, she struggled fiercely. But I called people in advance to restrain her and escort her there. Before leaving, I squatted down and stroked my niece's head. With red eyes. In the eyes of outsiders, I am an unbeatable good aunt. Good niece of Auntie. Be good here. Auntie will pay for your treatment every month, and come to see if you are living well here every month. My niece tried to awaken a trace of family affection in me. Auntie. Auntie. Mom and Dad said that we are the closest people. You can't abandon me. I am not your aunt. I am myself first. I am also glad that I have now separated from this family. I turned and left. Towards a new life. The end.